Have you ever felt so captivated by a video game that you almost feel like you're a part of the story? Like somehow you've been transported through space and time to wind up here in a world far from your own. Everything around you feels real, intangible, and alive. You are no longer a bystander, someone merely pressing buttons to cause actions to occur on a TV screen. No, you are someone else entirely with the world at your fingertips. The key word we're looking for here is immersion. This can be defined as a state of being deeply engaged or involved, absorption. This is a hallmark trait to any phenomenal story game and a key reason behind my love for Rockstar Studios' hit game Red Dead Redemption 2. Welcome to Red Dead Redemption 2. This Rockstar game came out in 2018 and it was absolutely phenomenal. It took the gaming world by storm. Really good time. I'm just going to let you guys know right now, I love it. I'm going to let you all know that I think it's phenomenal. It's brilliant. It's so many positive adjectives. I love it. And before we continue, I do want to clarify that I haven't beaten the campaign of this game. I also haven't played the online mode. I've been advised not to play the online mode because for those who have played it that I'm close to, they've said that it actually is not good, really by any means. Moving my phone real quick. And it apparently actually really takes away from the game. So I haven't even touched it, but from what I have played, and I've played a decent amount of it, I've put in well over 20 hours at this point. I've put in a solid amount, which I know that doesn't sound like much. And to be honest, it's definitely more than 20 hours. I'm just saying that as a rough estimate. Basically, I've played it enough, I think, to at least speak about it. I like it. Yeah, I really like it. The things that I like about this game are the story. I think the story is really good. The graphics and the gameplay also perform really well. I think one of my favorite parts about this game is the moral implications that come with it, like with a lot of the decisions you get to make. It's really fun to wander around in this game. I really enjoy just, being a rootinest, tootinest cowboy and just kind of exploring the world and seeing what's out there. And with all that combined, this game really feels alive. And as previously mentioned, it has incredible immersion. So with the story, as I previously mentioned, I haven't played the full game yet. But I still have played a lot of it, and I've gotten a good amount of time and invested a lot of energy into the story. And for starters, I think the characters are written really well. They're not morally one side or the other for the most part. They're not inherently good, they're not inherently evil. They're very morally complex and kind of morally gray. And I think this makes for really interesting storytelling, and it makes for like dynamic characters that don't feel just sort of, well, morally too one way or the other. I think that it allows for, better storytelling, better characters, better dialogue, all that good stuff. And Arthur Morgan, the main character in the video game, is a pretty morally ambiguous character that I think is written very well. And you get to make a lot of the moral decisions for Arthur Morgan. And I think that it's really cool. The dialogue is written extremely well as well. And yeah, there's really not much to say about the dialogue besides that they did a good job with it. With the dialogue, there's some moments where it tends to be pretty silly, tends to be kind of macho in certain parts, tends to be kind of stupid sometimes. But there are also moments where the dialogue can get really serious, sometimes sinister, sometimes deep, sometimes very thought-provoking. And I think the dialogue's great. And even with the silly moments, I think that it just adds to sort of the charm of the game. Rockstar has been known for having very witty, goofy, silly dialogue from time to time. And I think this is another game where they just did it really well. One of my favorite moments of dialogue in this game is what I call the dying breed monologue, where Arthur Morgan is sitting and talking with somebody in the camp and pretty much goes on to talk about how he feels like he's part of this dying breed because outlaws are starting to become extinct. The era of the cowboys coming to an end. For those of you that don't know, this game takes place in the late 1890s. America has pretty much finished its expansion west, and it's really started to fill in the middle there, like the Midwest. So it makes sense for the time. And for those of you that played Red Dead 1 or Red Dead Redemption 1, you know kind of how that works, because I think Red Dead 1 takes place 8 years later. And it's sort of in that sort of same vein where it's like the dying out of the cowboy, the dying breed of the outlaw, sort of like the last hurrah of this this like American icon almost. And it's a really interesting dialogue because Arthur Morgan basically talks about this idea of that, like, yeah, they're on the run, yeah, they're trying to do what they do, but the times are changing, and you know they are not going to be able to change with it. Almost, they're dying out. You know, and basically Arthur Morgan sort of discusses the idea of just being the last of a generation, and knowing that no matter what, eventually they're going to run out of time. And it's kind of sad, but it's also very very thought provoking. It got really deep. Actually, when I got done listening to it, I went and ranted to my significant other about it. But like, who doesn't play video games at all, by the way, who doesn't really know about Red Dead 2, but I had to go rant to them because I was just like, this dialogue got to me really bad, because you can't help but feel bad for Arthur Morgan. Like, that must be such an emotional pain to just know or to just feel like you are the end of an era. It's cool. It was awesome. It was really good dialogue, and it really got to me. The story missions themselves are fun and exciting. A lot of them involve, heisting, robberies. Some of them are like rescue missions where you're like extracting people, etc. I like the story missions of this game. I haven't played a story mission that I felt like thoroughly disappointed in. I think they've all been pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. With the graphics and the gameplay, graphics-wise, this game looks really good. There's just no way around it. This game looks really good. The heavy emphasis for this game was this sense of nature, like overwhelming nature almost. You have these very beautiful sprawling landscapes that are, they can... Oh, sorry, I had an itch. They can be like these giant forests. They can be these like, massive prairie lands. They can be these mountainous regions. Just these big scenes of nature that are really cool. The cities look cool as well. There's a couple cities, you got Blackwater. There's that one down to the bottom right that I don't remember what the name is. I'm not kidding when I say I'm not the brightest. But, the cities look cool. I think the people in this game look cool. I like that with Arthur Morgan, you can really look at him and see all the wear and tear that he's gone throughout the years. He doesn't look old, but he looks very wise. He looks like he's really seen a lot of what life has to offer. The animals look cool, by the way. I got ambushed by a bear the other day, and that thing was terrifying because it looked real. It looked terrifying. And yeah, I screamed. I was in an Xbox party with my friends, and I screamed. They're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I just got mauled by a bear. Excuse me." But moving on, the gameplay of this game is awesome. There's a lot of little things you can do in this game, like hunting. You can do chores around the camp, which I know sounds boring, but I actually really like it. You can have these little interactions with people that can sometimes lead to missions, but sometimes it's just a little like discussion. The horse riding in this game is really cool. I haven't been disappointed with the horse riding. It's actually my preferred method. I know you can like stagecoach around, but to be honest, I like the horse riding. I think it's very fun and satisfying. The combat itself is fun. The rifle or gun mechanics work well. They're pretty smooth. I have no complaints there. The Deadeye mechanic is still there from Red Dead 1. Fist fighting is basic, but it's enjoyable. Like, the melee combat isn't anything superb, but it definitely gets the job done. Like, it's serviceable. And there's a lot more little things about this game that are really fun and enjoyable that you can do. To be honest, I'm not going to get into all of them because that would take another separate video. But yeah, there's a lot that you can do in this game. The gameplay, it's smooth. The mechanics are good. For the most part, it's not buggy. Occasionally, you'll run into something that might just kind of bug out a little bit. Like, I know that like when I take the saddle off my horse and I try to place it somewhere, sometimes that it'll like teleport me to like the other side of the camp or something, or it'll just put me somewhere else entirely. I don't really know. But for the most part, it's easy. It's smooth, and I rarely ever run into any sort of like significant complications. And keep in mind, I'm playing this on a first-gen Xbox One on a 1080p TV, which none of those are bad by any means. Like, there's nothing wrong with an Xbox One, there's nothing wrong with a 1080p TV, but these are, this is a console and a type of TV that's sort of on the tail end in terms of you know, like performance. They still get the job done serviceably, but with the new Xbox and new PlayStation coming out, this Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, and even with Xbox One having newer iterations like this Xbox One S or X and whatnot, the Xbox Slim, to play this game on a regular 1080p TV and to play it on a base first gen Xbox One, for the fact that it still runs that well and the fact that it still looks that good, that's just a testament to how good the game is. And I'm so excited to play it on a new gen console with a 4K TV, because my God, that's going to be incredible. And I'm very excited for it. Moving on to one of my favorite parts of this game is the morality and like the moral choices. Excuse me, I had a little thing. You basically you have this moral bar for Arthur Morgan, and it's influenced by the decisions that you make. And you can make these decisions through side quests, through story missions, through just random events, et cetera, et cetera. For these side quests, these are like specific random missions that normally have some sort of moral implication to them. In some of like the bigger story missions, you have some moral choices that are presented to you. Like for one was me and my crew had gotten done doing some stuff, and some guy recognized us from another heist we did. So then he tried to run off and was going to go tell the authorities. So I tracked him down. Eventually led to him hanging from a cliff, and you had the choice as to whether you wanted to help him and save him, or if you wanted to let him die. And you're not obligated either way. And we'll get into that sort of like moral obligation thing later. But you aren't obligated to help this dude. You can either let him die and get off the hook scot-free, or you can help him and run the risk of him potentially telling the authorities. Me being the softy that I am, I went ahead and helped him up and was like, you better not tell anybody now, or else, me and my gang, I'm Arthur Morgan, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff. But I chose to help him up and let him go. And there's a lot of moral choices like that you can make. You can run into a bunch of random strangers as well, and you have the opportunity to help these people, harm them, ignore them, but you're not obligated to do anything. And I think that's the most interesting part, is that you are not obligated to help these random strangers that might ask you for help, that might want you to do something. You're not obligated at all. It all comes down to, do you want to help them? Do you want to save this person? Do you want to get them the supplies they need? Do you want to get them home? I think it's really cool. And the way you treat people around you, it does influence that sort of moral bar that you have, and it kind of serves an interesting mirror. You can help people around the camp by doing chores and whatnot. You can do little deeds for people. You can help people in dire situations. Like there was one, like I've ran into multiple people that got bit by snakes, which y'all need to chill. I don't know why people keep getting bit by snakes in this game, but multiple people got bit by snakes. I helped them get the venom out, stuff like that. And one of my favorite missions was I helped this lady home once. I was riding back to my camp, and she had fallen over. Well, her horse had fallen over. She'd gotten stuck under her horse. So I helped her get up, and I let her ride with me to this little town, and I dropped her off, and I never saw her again. But it felt cool because I got to help this lady. I got to help her get home. And it felt like I was doing good. I didn't have to help her at all. I had no obligation to, and I didn't really have any reward to go for doing it. But it just gave me the chance to do something good. And it also gave me the chance to do something bad, because I'm not going to name names, but someone I'm close to decided to shoot the lady and just be done with it. Let's just say that I don't morally align with this person completely. Some ways I do, some ways I don't. But yeah, I decided to help the lady home, and it was a cool little mission, because it basically was just it gave me the chance to really morally do what I want to do. But yeah, this game presents moral choices that I think really make it more dynamic, and it really contributes to the immersion of this game. As previously mentioned, it's fun to wander around with the awesome graphics, with the fun gameplay, with the cool little, random stuff that happens, that makes it just fun to roam around. Like one of my favorite things in that game is just getting on my horse, setting a waypoint really far away, and just seeing what happens on my way there. Sometimes nothing happens, and I get to just experience the beautiful nature that this game presents me. But sometimes I run into these really interesting situations, these really interesting people that make for some very fun content, and I'm getting a phone call. I'm going to ignore that. This person's going to be mad when they see this. I'm sorry, but I'm busy. I hope you don't take any offense to this. But yeah, so I was... I like to wander around in this game, and I think that's really cool. And I think that all of the random stuff that it presents to you and all of the beautiful nature makes it that much better. You really need to keep your eyes open when you play this game, because even if you've been to places before, you'll always find something new. There will be another person, there'll be another thing, another quest. There will always be something there for you to do, and I think that that's incredible. And it really contributes to this feeling of being an adventurous, wandering cowboy. And it's awesome. It's really cool. It's definitely one of my favorite aspects of the game. With all of this combined, with the beautiful nature, the wandering, the moral decisions, the story, the graphics, the gameplay, all the stuff that we've talked about today, it really makes this game feel alive. It really makes this game feel immersive. It really helps you dive into this world and really become a part of it. All these combined elements really transport you to this, late 1890s area where you just sort of get to dictate a lot of what happens. And it's really cool. I remember I was talking with my brother once, and I mentioned that Red Dead Redemption 2 is the most immersed I've ever felt when playing a video game. And it's not to say that other video games don't have immersive elements, and maybe there are other games out there that are more immersive than Red Dead Redemption 2. But I haven't experienced it like I have with this game. I've never had a game that's really been able to transport me so well from the world that I'm in now to the world that they lay out for me. And it's awesome. And Arthur Morgan, he's this really cool character. Don't get me wrong. I think he's an awesome character. You can't really control what he did in the past. You can't control some of the decisions he made before you started playing as him. But Arthur Morgan, at the end of the day, is really just a vehicle for you to explore this world. He's really just a vehicle for you to sort of interact and be a part of this universe. In a way, he's just a body for your mind. And I know that sounds weird, but it's true. He has his voice. My video is starting to get really buggy. But he has his voice. He has his mannerisms. But in reality, he's just a body for your mind to explore this universe. And I think it's really, really awesome. So in conclusion, immersion. I know I've said it so many times, but that to me is the most important aspect of this game and the reason why I love it so much. When I play this game, I can't help but just feel like I've been transported to another world. And I think it's incredible. This game is damn near perfect, if I'm being honest. I know I haven't finished it. I know I haven't played the online mode. I get it. Trust me, I understand. But there's a reason I'm called not the brightest. It's not just for fun. It's a genuine fact. But I really have little at all to complain about this game. I think it's so good. I know I'm late to the party, and I know there have been other people that have already said things like this, but it's great. It's my favorite Rockstar game of all time, which I know it's a hot take, but I don't care. I'm standing by it. It's my favorite Rockstar game of all time. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And yeah, I highly recommend it. If I had to give it a grade, I would give it an A+, and around 97 to 100%. The reason I'm not committing to a specific number is that someday I'll say 100%, someday I'll say 97, someday I'll say 98, another day I'll say 100 again, yada yada yada. You get my point. I can't 100% decide on 100%. Some days I will, some days I won't. But that's why I'm just giving it an A+. I think it's fitting, and I think that it's incredible. And I think it's one of those games that if it's not perfect, it's damn near. I'm in no way sponsored or affiliated with Rockstar or anybody else that was a part of the development and production of Red Dead Redemption 2. If you're looking for the gameplay footage that I used, that came from Rockstar and IGN's YouTube pages. Feel free to check it out. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, or don't. Honestly, whatever floats your wagon. I'm not the brightest. Thanks for watching. Have, of course, a wonderful day.